guys like feel, again, like comfortable or equipped to answer. So if you don't, then that's like completely fine. But one of the things we talk about in the documentary is transference. And I think typically when we hear about it, it's between like a patient and their therapist. But for me, I'm just gonna turn this off because the battery's dying. Like I remember, for me it was my niece, and so she was kind of like one of the triggers that made me remember, and also she was, when I had nightmares, it wasn't me getting hurt, it was her, and I was scared that I couldn't accept that it was something that happened to me in the past, it was something that was going to happen to her in the present. So if you could just talk a little bit about the relationship between transference and trauma, and how we see that like people play out in their personal relationships.
Yeah, I think transference is a really important part, and kind of like the example of a parent and their kid is at an age where something happened to them and they're like realizing, oh wow, that isn't normal, like what happened to me like wasn't normal behavior or a normal situation for like a 7-year-old or something like that. Folks that have had a lot of early childhood trauma, whether it be sexual or otherwise, I think that comes out when they're around like little kids and watching them grow and develop, particularly if there's attachment and like kind of closeness there. So that's pretty common. Did you have?
I don't have too much to say. I think, let me know what your thoughts are about this. I'm wondering too, I'm kind of just saying stuff, hoping it lands like Michael Scott. I'm wondering with the transference too, if it's part of like the repressed memories, trying to repress it even further of like, okay, like I'm starting to feel it, but I want to repress it, so I'm going to put it into someone else. I don't know if that could be a thing, like we're talking about like a parent maybe, we're having like nightmares about someone else, but it happened to you. It could be another way of protecting, like another layer. Because I think, remembering, our brain and our bodies want to do everything possible to protect ourselves and keep us functioning, and keep us like trying to make sure we can survive.
And I think with that survival thing that the brain is like so good at doing, it just causes a lot of problems. For someone to say like, hey, I've been through trauma, or to like even maybe say what that is, or maybe not if they don't really know, that takes a lot of like resiliency, I think, and a lot of courage, particularly in our culture. And so if you think about like the emotions attached to like sitting with the fact that like this thing may have happened to me, or whatever it is, sometimes those feelings are really too painful. And so the brain will be like, oh, hell no. We're not going there. We're not saying that happened to me. We're not identifying it as trauma, but it will play out in the fears with the people that we love and that we care about, and like in our dreams, and it shows up, but in a different way.